Apartments in Calgary continue to set new records every single month. Like, look at this chart. This is absolutely wild. Last year it was pretty flatlined, and this year it's absolutely taken off. Let's dive into it. Let's figure out what's going on. Hi, my name is Adam Fyfe, your Calgary Realtor. If you're looking at creating a game plan, you want to make sense of what all these reports mean, go ahead, please book a call with me. I promise I'm pretty easy to talk to. My Zoom link is in the description. Let's dive into it. As usual, let's look at what the Calgary Real Estate Board has written about apartments here in Calgary. Now, this is the only property type that has reported a year-to-date gain in sales activity. So this is really great to see. I'm very, very happy to see apartments increasing in price to where they were in 2014. Now, I know a lot of people might not like that, but as a city economics, it is really good to see that apartments are doing better than what they have. Alberta and Calgary have struggled for so long. From 2015 to 20, we had a very slow real estate market. It was not very good for the economy. There was no movement. A lot of things were deflated. So I am personally happy to see that there's a lot of good activity in the apartment market. Now, the sales to new listing ratio was 84%, which again is great to see, with the months of supply still at 1.4 months, which is still a very strong seller's market, still favoring the seller in these conditions. Now, the unadjusted benchmark price is $305,000, nearly 1% higher than last month and over 12% higher than last July, which is quite crazy actually. That's a very big increase. While prices are higher than last year in every district, the city center has yet to see the same level of pressure on prices and has reported the lowest year-over-year growth at nearly 9%. City center always lags in this department because there's just so much inventory in downtown Calgary that really does saturate the market a little bit. So let's start to dive into this. Now, I do want to touch on this graph here a little bit more because it is quite wild to say the least. So the red bar is the price point, the blue bar is the inventory, the leftover homes, and the green bar is the sales. So if we look at the red bar, clearly you can see prices have increased a dramatic amount. You can see that July of last year, they were roughly around 272. This year, they're at around 305. Pretty wild increase in price point, to say the least. You can see that the inventory has actually fallen. Excuse my burp there. The inventory has actually fallen quite dramatically. I mean, you can see that big gap in July of last year when the interest rates were just starting to really ramp up. And then this year, you can actually see the gap has actually starting to increase a little bit more as well compared to May and June. Now, I'm very happy to see that the sales have increased a little bit since this point of last year, as well as inventory dropping. It's starting to look a little bit more like a balanced market in its entirety, which is really good to see for condos, but we're starting to see more and more price increases continuing as the demand stays here in Calgary. Now, if you're curious of what the benchmark is, so benchmark price is specifically connected to attributes here in Calgary. So it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 905 square foot underground parking built in 2005. So when you see benchmark price, you're going to notice that each individual quadrant has a different benchmark price, but this is what you would get for that price point. So let's start to break this down. Unlike any other district or any other property type, you can see the sales, the year-to-date sales have actually increased a dramatic amount. So many people are buying condos here in Calgary because of the affordability issue we're currently facing. A lot of townhouses are increasing dramatically, kind of pushing people out of townhouses. So a lot of people are relying on these sales. So you can see that we have well surpassed the last 10 years. The new listings have also increased, again, which is really good to see. It just kind of helps balance out that a little bit. So you can see that, again, we've kind of surpassed everything in the last 10 years. But when you look at the inventory, this is where it starts to get interesting, because you look at the last, 14 years, we're the lowest amount of inventory that we've ever had, meaning that there's just not enough homes at the end of the market. So when you start to look at the three things here, it looks good with the sales, it looks good with the new listings, but the inventory is just not holding up as much as it should. So we need to have more listings, less sales to kind of balance out the price point, or the pricing is going to continue to increase, which I'm almost guaranteeing at this point going into the winter that so many people are just buying affordable product here in Calgary. So let's break it down one more time. Now, this is the bread and butter for the entire video, looking at each individual quadrant separately. So on the left, you've got your sales. you've got your new listings, and then you've got your sales to new listing ratio. You can see that there's actually the Northwest and West are over 100%, meaning that there was more sales than there were new listings, clearly indicating that there's going to be some sort of price increase. Anything over about 80%, you can almost guarantee there's going to be a price increase. This is the inventory of the leftover homes at the end of the month. Kind of surprised to see over 100 condos left over at the end of the month in Calgary South. Now, the months of supply is kind of puts this all together. So anything under about a month and a half, 2 months is a seller's market. Over 2 to 4 is about balanced conditions. Anything over 3.5, 4 is a buyer's market, depending on which way it's going up and down. So everything under 2 here, and you can see that Northwest and South and East are all under 1 month of supply, which is a very hot market. So if you're looking at those individual quadrants, keep this in mind. You can see that this is the benchmark price for each individual quadrant with an average of 305, the year over year increase, and then the month over month increase. So now that I'm going to clear this, you can see that City Center actually reduced by $600. Really not much, but it's still a reduction to say the least. You can see that the most affordable quadrant in Calgary, Calgary East, has actually increased by $9,100 in 1 month, followed by Southeast and then Northeast by $7,400. So if you are looking in these individual quadrants, it's very important to know these numbers so you can plan ahead and at least have an idea of what you're getting into. Look at previous sales history, look how long they've been on the market, and figure out what you need to do to win that product or to put your home on the market and sell it efficiently. So here we go. Where are we going to end? This graph here just clearly indicates what has happened in the price point over the last 4 or 5 years, and you can see we're on the up and up. Now, I talked about this in other property type videos. I am pretty confident that we're going to see some sort of flattening going into the winter. I don't think we'll see too big, if at all, of any price reductions. Really depends on how many new listings come up on the market. If we get flooded with new listings after the September month rolls around when students leave and a lot of leases are coming up, then we could see an increase in inventory and a decline in inventory and a decline in price, which could play into your advantage if you're looking at it as an investor. But at the end of the day, it's very, very important to set up a game plan well in advance and figure out how these things are going to reflect your personal situation. So go ahead and book a Zoom call if you're interested in talking about these things. I'm more than happy to help. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.